Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's full moon meditation. Today is October 10th, and for those who don't know, today is considered World Mental Health Day, which is actually marked every year on this day, which is October 10th. So it's pretty special that we're all here today to meditate together. Um, so one of the things that I did last month that was pretty awesome and worked really well because it like the theme was on, I don't exactly remember what the theme was on, but whatever quote was pulled was actually uh, in line with the theme. So let's see if we can do that again today. Today, our theme is World Mental Health Day. If I can get someone to, let me make sure I've got the chat on so I can see this, but if I can get someone to pick a number from 8 to 150, please. All right. Thank you. All right, 32. Got it. 32. I'm just going to get the first one. Okay, so we're going to do 32. And this is our quote of the day, which is going to ideally help inspire us to meditate because all these quotes are pretty profound and can help us meditate. So we're going to do 32. And I have no idea what you picked, so let's hope it goes in line with the theme. So today's quote is universal suffering. Someone may want this, but get that. We choose our spouse because we think we will love each other forever. At the beginning, it is sweet, but then it changes through time. Everyone has to face something we do not love and like in terms of people, animal, and things. Separation is an ordinary element of life, and suffering is universal for every living being. The Buddha found that the way out, and whoever follows this practice, will attain the ultimate peace and will become acknowledged, awakened, and overwhelmed. When we know our own story, awake from the matrix, the mind will be joyful and peaceful as a result. So that was today's quote. So thank you so much for picking that number, 32. Another thing that we did in the past 3 months is, if you don't recall, we've been doing this thing called a mind challenge, which is an opportunity for us to build on a habit that we've been wanting to improve during this special time. And this actually marks the end of that challenge. So I'm going to share my challenge and what I did, and hopefully we can get some insight in what you hopefully experience and that you're able to build on during this 3-month mind challenge. So for me, I actually tried to increase my meditation more, and I did that throughout the past 3 months. So I'm proud to say that I actually did that. So if anyone has a story that they want to share with regards to something that they were able to commit to, please share it on the chat so that we can all see it, and it'll help inspire somebody else. But don't forget, it doesn't matter, even though this mind challenge is complete, it's still something that you can continue to do on your own every day. It's to improve yourself. So with that, I'm going to introduce our teaching monk, Monk Daniel. A little bit about Monk Daniel is that he's been a practicing Buddhist monk for over 10 years now. His dedication is to meditate, and he's been dedicated to this practice and trying to do it passionately for over 10 years. His goal is to spread meditation to the world so that everyone can find true happiness inside. So at this time, without further ado, let me introduce Monk Daniel.
Good evening to everyone in America and all around the world. Good morning from Thailand. It's good to see everyone gathered here today on this full moon. It's a very auspicious day today because not only is it the full moon of this month, which symbolizes the brightest night of this month, as well as the 138th anniversary of our great meditation master, Luang Pu. So for those of us who have been practicing and joining every time and know about the Dhammakaya method, everything that we've been learning and practicing together is from him. So today is a good day to pay respect to him and honor him by taking the time to meditate together. And coincidentally, it's also the 10th of October is also the day of World Mental Health Day. which is, actually in Buddhism, there's nothing coincidental. Everything happens for a reason. So it's special that on Luang Pu's birthday, it's also a day about World Mental Health, because he dedicated his whole life for mental health, spending every day from the day he ordained until the day he passed away. He never missed a day of meditation. And he dedicated his life to understanding it and teaching it and giving us the knowledge to now, over 138 years later. So we are taking the steps in the right direction for ourselves to look after our mental health, which, as we know, nowadays, now than ever, we really need to look after that. As we are starting to learn about it more in the Western world, maybe in the East, we've known about it for a little bit, but in the West, we're still learning step by step on how can we develop our mental health and look after it. As our lovely moderator, Miss B, mentioned a moment ago, right? We just finished our challenge, our Mind Gym challenge, right, for the 3 months. I would like to also give you the positive energy or the merit for me for making it 11 years as a monk now. So I'd like to share that positivity to everyone as well. Anyway, let's learn today about how can we take care of our mental health. As we know, as I mentioned just a moment ago, today is the anniversary of this monk, a very special and our great master of the Dhammakaya method. He is the reason why we have this special and powerful phrase that we need to practice in our life, which is, stop is the key to success. This phrase is short. It's only a couple words, right? It's only 5 words. So it's a short phrase, but if we practice it, it's very profound. If we take the time to stop our mind, by taking the time to still it, we can achieve the happiness within us. So this is something that we really need to, if you can't remember anything through today's talk, remember these words. Stop is the key to success. He meant not only in meditation, but also in our life. Because if we take the time to stop our mind, still it, we can unlock something so precious and so valuable that comes from stilling our mind. So as we're talking about mental health, right, we all want to get positive thinking. We want to get this level of positive thinking because our mind is the element of success, and it's the most important thing that we have to look after. Other than our body, we're used to doing that, but what we need to make a habit of is looking after our mind. Because if we look after our mind, these are the things that we get. We get confidence, we get motivation, we have, most importantly, happiness and belief in ourselves, motivation, enthusiasm, inspiration. Everything that helps us to live a better life comes from our mind. So we really need to take care of it. You know, we know about taking care of our heart, taking care of our lungs and all these organs, but we forget one of the most important parts of our body, parts of ourself, is our mind. So, of course, mental health really depends on this phrase, is we need to declutter our life. As we know, there is signs of mental depression or signs of mental illness is when people don't look after their environment, don't look after themselves, right? So as we take the time to declutter your life, it will make your mental health better. But the most important thing is, why should we meditate, right? Because it's like this. If we don't take the time to declutter, what happens? Like this picture. Let's say you want to have a delicious meal or want to order something. You can't because your table is full, right? You can't add anything else. Even though you want to order something else or make something else and eat it, you can't because your table is full. The mind is the same way. When we meditate, it's like this. When we start, if we don't take care of our mental health, our mind will become similar to this. As our mind becomes filled with clutter and sometimes, a lot of times with negativity, whether it's being anxious, being sad, being depressed, or anything negative, our mind becomes dark like this. But when we meditate, we make space for something better. So as we start to relax our mind, still our mind, we start to make space in that darkness or in our mind that is filled with other things. So when we make space, we make room for happiness. We make room for positivity to grow. That's why we need to meditate, because the longer we meditate and the better we meditate, the more space you make into your mind. And as we continue to relax, continue to calm our mind, we make even more space and even more space until the darkness in your mind, the negativity in your mind, the bad influence that we may have created or we have absorbed, it will start to disappear by itself. And as you can see, there's more space for happiness, more space for knowledge, more space for understanding, compassion, as we push out the negativity in your mind. And quite coincidentally, it's similar to what? Tonight, the full moon, right? The moon is shining in the night, surrounded by darkness. Your mind can be the same. As we meditate, we still it, our mind becomes like the full moon. And eventually, our whole mind will have true happiness, a happiness that you create within yourself by simply relaxing and making space so you can receive something better, letting go of the things that are hurting you mentally, and being able to, once we make the space, we're able to receive something else. It's similar to this. As we fill our mind up with true happiness, it's like we fill ourselves up like this balloon, and we're able to float above any negativity, float above any darkness that we may uncover, or we may have obstacles come into our life. But when we are filled with happiness from within, we can rise above it, the obstacles and the negativity that we may encounter within ourselves or from others or from our environment. So it's so important to maintain our mental health by simply meditating. We can be like this. We can float above our obstacles and the negativity, or we can be like the balloon, keep rising. Our mind will keep rising and be strong and pure and positive and rise above all those difficulties. You can see like our full moon tonight over the sun, right? It's higher than the clouds. If we're on the ground, maybe it's cloudy. We can't see the moon, we can't see the sun. But if we make our mind like the moon and the sun, we rise above those clouds. We rise above any obstacles as well. So keeping your mind filled with happiness from within, we will be like this. So when we talk about meditation, to get to that state, we really need to learn how to let go. That's the key. Let go of the past, let go of the future, and simply get to the present, which is a little bit difficult in the beginning, but not too hard. Just think of it this way. If our hands are full, right? Our left hand is holding something, our right hand is holding something, and we don't put it down, we can't receive anything else. Let's say in front of you, there's something more precious. Let's say you're carrying something heavy, right? A lot of boxes you're moving, and in front of you, there's like $1 million, like a check or something like that, or a diamond. You can't pick it up because you're holding things in your hands, right? You're filled. Same thing. You have to put it down, whatever you're carrying, so you can pick something new up. And the way to put it down, and you just have to put everything aside for a moment mentally, or be able to relax our hand, relax our fist. You can't open your fist by using more effort, right? You have to relax, and you can slowly open your hand. Your mind is the same thing. A lot of times throughout our day, as we use our mind and we think a lot, our mind is closed like this, sometimes very tight. But as we relax our body, relax our mind, it starts to open up naturally. So like I said here, If we don't put everything down, we can't get anything new. So we take the time right now before we started the meditation is put that into your mindset that when we start the meditation, try to put everything down for a moment and you'll feel lighter right away, right? Think of you holding all these boxes, it must be very heavy. And the moment you put everything down, you're going to feel light. You're going to feel, your body's going to feel light, your mind's going to feel light. So as Luang Pu said, right, stop is the key to success. And when we do that, our mind becomes to be still. So when we still the mind, we begin the change within yourself to look after your mental health, right? And to make your life positive. We may think that, hey, how can making my mind still or stopping my mind be the key to success? You can look at it like this. When you still the mind, your mind becomes positive, right? It fills up with happiness, like we mentioned. And when your mind is positive, your speech will be positive. Your action will be positive. Your habit will be positive. And of course, what you do as a habit becomes your destiny. So this is the pathway to make your life better in every way, starting from within yourself and then spreading out to everything. It's like you find that inner brightness within you and you can share that brightness and shine that brightness through your speech, through your action, through your habit, and to everyone around you. So the stillness of mind becomes the miracle that we need in our life. Whenever we feel down, whenever we feel that we are overwhelmed with negativity within ourselves or from others or from our environment, don't wait for the miracle to come. Don't look for someone to help you or rely on someone to help you or some, magical thing to come. If you just take the time to look within instead of looking outside, you can find the miracle that you've been searching for or looking for. Just remember this recipe. It's not a secret. Most recipes, we like to keep it in the family or keep it as a secret. We don't want to spread it. But this recipe, I would like to share to everyone, and please write it down mentally and maybe physically so you don't forget and use it every time, is that this. With a mind that is clear and at ease, we can achieve anything. If our mind is at the seventh base, which is at the center of the body, anything can be achieved. This is a translation from Luang Por, which is another great master of ours, which he connects to Luang Pu. So remember this recipe and we will have success in everything we do. And I always use this as when I feel overwhelmed, when I feel stressed, I feel uneasy. I always remind myself, hey, I need to clear my mind, make it at ease, keep it bright, and then everything else, we're going to be able to see the solution and know what to do next. Because unfortunately, we can't, go and buy the essence of positivity in some store or, on Amazon. Unfortunately, there's no deal to buy it, but you can create it within yourself following that recipe. And every time you meditate, every second that you calm your mind down more, it's like you're filling yourself up with this positive essence. And once you have that full essence, you can not only use it for yourself, but you can also share it. All we need to do right now to do that is have a comfortable body and comfortable mind. This is the foundation that we can't skip. We mention it every time, but sometimes the small things go a long way. Remember that before we start the meditation now, keep your body comfortable the best you can. You can stretch a moment or adjust yourself to a comfortable position that works for you. So it's very important to adjust the body to prepare yourself. So, sometimes we have to take a sip of tea, some coffee, some water to freshen you up. Maybe in the future, before you come to meditate, you can take a shower. And most of us tonight, we've already taken a shower, so we're probably fresh and alert and ready to meditate. And of course, a small stretching can go a long way. And the comfortable mind part, this is a little bit more difficult, but actually easy if we just do in the beginning. Just learn how to put everything down mentally by just talk to yourself. Today's this moment for the next 30 minutes that we're going to meditate together is the time for yourself. So not time to think, just put everything down and learn to let go. Learn to let go, like this picture. If you hold on to the lantern, everything in life, there's a moment for us to hold on to it and let go. Nothing in life, like the quote in the beginning, right? Universal suffering. It may sound a little bit pessimistic, but it's the truth. Everything we encounter, we have separation. But that doesn't mean it has to be negative. There's a time for everything that we have to hold on to and let go, right? The bird has to leave the nest eventually, right? Your children have to grow up. Your parents have to pass away. This is reality. But as you can see, like the lantern, if you hold on to it too long, what happens? It burns, right? It burns up and it hurts you. So eventually, when the lantern fills up with the energy, with the oxygen, right? With the gas, we have to let it go. And when we let it go, it floats up and it lights up the night, right? So as we let go, it actually creates something more beautiful as well, making the light, spreading the light to the sky, and we get to see that event happen. So sometimes we have to let go, and when we let go, we actually may feel better, and we may be able to experience something new. So right now, all we need to do is change our focus to comfort, and we can do that by using the mantra, using the visualization to help you change your focus. And now all we need to do is follow the comfort. Follow the comfort. That's it. If you can't remember anything, just follow what makes you feel comfortable. And if you don't feel comfortable mentally or physically, just adjust. Don't use force. Don't use any effort. In Thai, sabai, relaxing and comfortable. That's all we need to do. So without further ado, let's take the time to meditate together and look after our mental health and take the steps to develop ourselves mentally, and then we will see that success happen in our life. So before we start the meditation, like always, let's take the time to relax physically first. If you are ready, you can start. If you're not, take the time to adjust until you feel comfortable. So like always, no matter how many times we meditate, or especially if this is your first time, take it easy, take it slow. No need to rush. Right now, it's time for us to rest. Right now, it's time for us to look after ourselves, to look after our mental health. As we try to follow and understand the wisdom from Luang Pu, the great meditation master, where he said, stop is the key to success. That process begins right now, as we take the time to adjust our body, finding a position that is comfortable, relaxing. And once we found that position, we may slowly, gently, naturally close our eyes. Closing our eyes in a way where we feel relaxed. The same way we would when we go to sleep. Because right now is a time for us to rest. But a special kind of rest, where we feel conscious and comfortable together. So once we've adjusted our body to be comfortable, we've closed our eyes to be comfortable, we can begin to let go. Starting from our eyes, we can let go of them. We can forget about them completely. Because in meditation, we don't need to use our eyes. The way we see or experience in meditation comes from our feeling. The feeling of relaxation and comfort is the heart of meditation. It's the only thing that we need to use. As we relax and release every part of our body, taking the time to make sure that every muscle is free from any tension, any tightness, whether it's our face, our eyebrows, our eyes. Relaxing and releasing our shoulders, arms, placing our hands comfortably on our lap, releasing and relaxing down our back, legs, all the way down to your feet. And just to make sure that you're completely relaxed, we can take a few deep breaths, breathing in deeply, exhaling slowly, trying to feel your breath as you breathe in. As that breath enters your body, filling up your lungs with relaxation, allowing that relaxation to spread from your lungs to every corner of your body. As the sensation of relaxation soothes, relaxes every muscle. As we exhale, allowing all the tension, any hidden stress or tightness to leave, to fade away, to disappear, leaving us only with relaxation within us, around us. You may notice the more we relax, the more our body will begin to fade away, becoming one with the relaxation that we feel. This is the power of simply relaxing. It's the only thing that we need to do in meditation. Relax our body and calm our mind. As we relax our body, our mind will have the foundation to begin the process to become still. Now all we need to do is let go mentally. We need to stop carrying all our burdens, all our worries, and even our responsibilities. Put everything aside. Right now, the only responsibility we have is to ourselves. We have so much love to give to everything, but now it's time to give that love to yourself. We don't need to wait for everything in our life to fall into place. We need to make sure that our mind is in the right place first, in the positive place within you. We can connect to that space easily and simply by following the words of Luang Pu. Stop is the key to success. In order to stop, we need to relax. We need to use a method that is easy, comforting, relaxing for you. Whether it's to use the mantra, repeating in our mind the special, powerful mantra from Luang Pu, Samma Arahang, Samma Arahang, Samma Arahang. Samma meaning purity, Arahang meaning freedom. So as we use that mantra, our mind is becoming more pure, more free, as we make space, clearing out the clutter, clearing out the darkness and negativity within our mind. Or for some of us, it may be easy, enjoyable to visualize. Visualizing the full moon tonight, shining within you, in front of you, covering you, however you like. Or you can imagine the sun. For those of us who are familiar with Luang Pu, you can even imagine him. We can do it however you like, not worrying about the clarity. As long as it feels relaxing, the image will get clear by itself. Whether we use the mantra or the visualization, we need to follow our feeling, follow the comfort. We will know for ourselves if we're practicing correctly, because we will feel more comfortable. It will feel easy, calming, relaxing, refreshing. For some of us, as we begin to feel more calm, more relaxed, where we feel conscious and comfortable together. Every moment, every second that passes by, our mind is becoming more clear, more bright, more positive. As we clear the space in our mind, we make room for the happiness to grow. We make room for the positivity, which will begin to enter our mind. All we need to do is continue to let go by relaxing and releasing. Before we know it, we will feel for ourselves that we just want to do nothing. We just want to let go and allow the comfort to carry us, to bring us to the point of peace within you that we all share, that we all have, that we can access anytime, anywhere. As we continue to relax and release, the negativity in our mind or any darkness that we may feel, it won't be able to stay. Because stop is the key to success. The more we still our mind, the more we stop the negativity and we start the positivity within you. All we need to do now is to be patient, to be content, keeping our mind in the present, allowing ourselves to open this gift. And the happiness within you will come naturally on its own as our mind will become full of brightness, full of happiness, full like the moon tonight. So let's continue to meditate together, allowing our mind to become full, to become bright. Samarang. Samarang. Every moment, every second that we collect the moments of stillness, our mind is becoming more bright, more clear, as we clear the clutter, clear the negativity out of our mind, filling us with more happiness, more peacefulness, as we begin to feel that happiness growing within you. Feel the relaxation, glowing, shining. It's a brightness that we can feel for ourselves. A brightness that we can experience and even see simply by relaxing. And now that we have taken the time to light that brightness within you, which is the most important step that we should practice before we do anything, making sure that the brightness of our mind is always lit, shining like a candle, as bright as the moon, as bright as the sun, helping to brighten our life in every way. And now that we have lit that brightness within us, it's time for us to softly and gently light the candle on the outside. When we are ready, please take the time to light that candle. And once you've lit it, we can slowly and gently close our eyes again, continuing to relax. And we can even use that light, imagine it, try to feel it, glowing, shining, filling us with warmth and positivity. And now that we have taken the time to still our mind, making space for the true happiness to grow as we fill our mind up with positivity, filling our mind with a brightness that we can feel through the relaxation of the mind. The more we relax, the more our mind will become still. And that happiness will grow exponentially, continuously, like a light that will only get brighter. And that brightness is a purity of mind that is free from all negativity, free from greed, anger, delusion. We will understand that true love, true compassion, true wisdom comes from within you. It comes from within. The source of all positivity of mind comes from within. As we go to that source, we allow it to grow, and only then can we spread it. Now that our mind is filled, we can spread that positivity that we feel, spreading our love and kindness, dedicating this energy to our loved ones. For those of us who are familiar with Lungpo, we can even dedicate this positivity to him and continue to spread this energy that we feel by wishing well, wishing for our loved ones, even if they're passed away. You can send this energy to them just by thinking of them briefly, softly and gently, whether it's thinking of their name or their face, whatever is easier. Allowing that positive feeling within you to grow, to expand, covering us with the sensation of relaxation radiating from you. As we take the time to expand our heart, expand our mind, wishing for everyone, our friends, everyone in the Zoom, everyone around the world, wishing for them to be happy, to be free from suffering of both mental and physical. As we think in a positive way and we send out this feeling, that positivity will come back to you, making our mind feel more bright, just like one candle. As it lights the next, it continues to light the next candle and the next candle. Not only do we spread that brightness to others, our path also becomes more bright. So right now, continue to spread out. Now that our mind is more positive, we have taken the time to make ourselves better. And a better you means a better world. As we can spread this positivity to our own small world first, to our family, to our friends, to the community, one person at a time. And once we have spread out, we can come back to ourselves, continuing to relax and absorb the positivity coming back to you. And just enjoy the stillness and relaxation for a moment again. Sabhe Buddha Palapada Pache Kanang Chayang Palang Arahanta Nate Shirakang Pantami Sabaso Sabaputta Nupavena Sabadhamma Nupavena Sapasangha Nupavena Satasoti Pawandu Te. By the positivity that we've generated from meditation, bless our life in every way. And when we are ready, we may slowly and gently open our eyes. Welcome back, everyone. Hopefully everyone can get in touch with your own full moon within yourself first. And then tonight you can go out and enjoy the full moon in the sky. The most important full moon is the one within you that you can connect to anytime, anywhere. So I'd like to pass the mic back to Miss B.
Thank you so much, Venerable. That was so peaceful. And especially on a day like today being World Mental Health Day, that meditation was just very uh, profound, at least for me. So thank you. I really enjoyed it. We do want to ask everyone, if you don't mind putting in the chat your experience and let us know how you felt about today's meditation. And also if you can include your city state as well. We like to know where our members are from. In addition, we do want to continue to improve our sessions. So please enter. We're going to have a link shortly pop up Thank you for sharing that, Sumana. With regards to feedback, there's going to be a barcode that you can click on and then share your feedback with us. Now, this does wrap up our session tonight for the meditation session, but please don't go anywhere because this is my favorite part, which is the Q&A. So stay tuned for that. Just a couple of announcements first. Our next full moon meditation is going to be on November 8th, which is a Tuesday. So please mark that down on your calendar and join us. And then also, if you haven't already, please check out our website, mindgem.org. This is a great place where you can stay in touch with us, download our app, either on iOS or Android. And again, we send notifications when we have upcoming full moon meditations. So it's a great way to keep in touch with us and join our sessions monthly. And also, we do have on-site meditation class offerings in our various centers. So you can also connect on that as well on the MindGem page if you go to locations. Pretty much most of our centers are meeting, so just click on your respective center and then find out kind of what their class offering is. So this wraps up our the announcements, and next we're going to transition over to Q&A. So Venerable Monk Daniel will be joining us, and then we open the floor up to questions from everyone with regards to your meditation experience. Today's theme is World Mental Health Day. So, maybe if we can kind of stick to the theme, that'd be great. And this is a great opportunity to learn from each other, and questions really kind of help you have more insight. You might not even think about it, but when someone else asks that question, you actually learn something. So at this time, we'd love to open it to the floor to see if you have any questions that our teaching monk can answer. All right. Don't have any questions yet, Venerable, but I'm sure that they will trickle in. I can also go back to the questions that we had on hold from last month as well. So I'll have that handy. But while we're waiting for others to ask questions, I do have one that pertains to today, which is World Mental Health Day. So mental health is definitely a huge topic, I think, for society these days. And just want to get a perspective from you, Venerable, in terms of like the stress and pressures of work that make mental health not so easy, in terms of, the anxiety that happens and trying to like meet deadlines and what have you. I know meditation is supposed to help you in terms of just like trying to have more balance, but outside of that, how do you kind of lessen the pressure and the anxiety, even though you know that, your world isn't going to collapse? Even if you are a meditator, sometimes it's hard to really kind of take a step back and not let these pressures and responsibilities kind of weigh you down.
Yeah, great question. I think everyone experiences this, myself included. I'm not immune to anxiety or pressure as well. But what I've noticed is that a lot of the times as we practice meditation, we kind of only use it when we come to meditate. We don't use it all the time, which is the next step that can really help us, is applying meditation into your daily life, not just like a time to meditate, which is, right now, maybe once a month, once a week. But what I noticed is that you should treat your process, like your work process or whatever you're doing, the same way we kind of apply our technique in meditation, meaning that the reason why we feel anxiety, the reason why we feel stressed is because we're not really present. Does that make sense? What I mean by that is the anxiety is coming from the expectation or the deadline, right? Or the stress is coming from your mind is in the future or your mind is in the past. And rather than focusing on the task in front of you, you're kind of doing two things at once. Rather than just working, your mind is also worrying and feeling the pressure because you're not focusing on what you're doing, but you're focusing also on the deadline. So that makes you feel the way where we feel really like overwhelmed. So if what I recommend is try to, just like in meditation, when we meditate and we expect the experience, or we think, or we put our mind in the future, we compare from the past, our meditation doesn't increase, our meditation doesn't progress because we're not in the present. And the same thing with work. If we apply the same reasoning, is if we're in the present and focus on what you're doing, focus on the method, you will get the result without the stress, without the anxiety, without the pressure, because you're focusing on what to do. And when you focus on what to do, you can go through the motions more. That's why being present is so powerful. Focusing on what you have and what's missing. A lot of times we're focusing on what's missing rather than what we're doing.
Mhm.
And that's what makes us feel that anxiety. And so if you feel that way, again, take a deep breath, bring your mind back to yourself for a moment, center yourself for a moment. It will go a long way, even a second, 1 minute. Sometimes you don't feel like it will help, but as you do it more often, you'll see it that just like we're running a marathon, you ran for, and all of a sudden you take a moment to stop and breathe, you'll feel better, right? Your mind is the same thing, especially if you're working all day, trying to get that, you're going to feel overwhelmed. But if you take a moment to stop and relax and bring your mind back to yourself, you're going to feel that weight. Like I mentioned in the beginning, right? When you don't feel that weight get released bit by bit. It's like you're carrying a bunch of things, and the moment you put it down, you will feel the relief.
Mm.
So that's why we need to kind of take a deep breath, center yourself, use the mantra, use the visualization to bring you back to the present, and you're going to feel better right away or
Yeah.
gradually as well.
Thank you, Lumpy. I think it's really important not to overlook something like just anxiety because, it can actually have a physical effect on you as well if you're not like dealing with your mental well-being. Like you can have a breakdown that will actually affect your physical body and even like potentially something worse like a stroke. So it's really important to have these tools to really like help yourself when you need it. So thank you so much, Venerable. Now, we did have questions trickle in, Venerable. One question that came in, actually a few. Let me go ahead and get to it. So this is a question that came from the Georgia Meditation Center. Thank you guys for representing. So as much as I focus and let go in meditation, all of my responsibilities are constantly coming up. How do I truly let go? That's a very relevant question to the theme as well.
Our first responsibility is to ourselves, to calm ourselves first. And then as we do that, we have that positive mindset to look after the rest of our responsibilities better. So, of course, when the responsibilities come up, we have to use the method that helps to shield your mind, meaning that sometimes just relaxing isn't enough in the beginning of the session. In meditation, the end goal is to do nothing. But in the beginning, we have to do something for some of us to get to that state of nothingness where your mind is blank, when your mind is still. So if you feel that the responsibilities are coming up, there's a couple of things that we can do. The first one, especially if it's distracting, is try to use the mantra or use the visualization to kind of block out your mind from thinking about those responsibilities. Because the good thing about our mind is that it can only focus on one thing at a time. Even though it may feel like we can think of 1,000 things, it's only because it's jumping from one thing to the next thing to the next thing. So as we stop that jumping, we need to think of the mantra instead, or the visualization, or even both at the same time if we feel like we can do it relaxingly. And it will help you to kind of build that shield or barrier and or it's like an anchor that keeps your mind from drifting away. It keeps your mind inside. So use the mantra and the visualization to block out that. And if you feel that that's not working, then we can go to the next step is just open your eyes. Open your eyes and it will help to cut the thinking. It's like a director. If you say cut, the movie stops, right? They stop filming, stop everything. And in the beginning, sometimes we have to open our eyes often, but it will help to, it's better than continuing with the process of thinking because it's like a habit. The moment you stop it, by opening your eyes, the habit can stop. The bad habit can stop. And don't worry about restarting often, because the process or the progression that you had in the meditation didn't disappear. Because if you continue to meditate with that wandering mind, we're not really progressing. So the best thing to do is just to cut it out as soon as possible. So those are two things that you can try, and it will get better gradually. And before you know, it's gonna exponentially get better.
So, Venerable, that was actually a pretty good question. And, your answer kind of like made me think of something myself with regards to the wandering mind when you meditate. So, when you're sitting down to meditate and you do have a wandering mind, do you think there are moments in there where you're actually meditating? Or if you're just having wandering thoughts, is it just kind of like a waste because you really didn't meditate? What is your take on that?
There is moments between the wandering that are moments of more calm, and those are moments that we are progressing. But in the moments where you are wandering truly, where your mind is, thinking of this or that, it's not really progression. It's like you fell off the path. So even though you're walking in the wrong direction, or
Mm.
not going in the right direction. So that's why the sooner you realize is a good step. You realize so you can adjust, and the sooner you adjust, the sooner you come back on the right path and start walking in the right direction again.
Oh, wow, that makes a lot of sense. So you're still walking, but you're just not walking in the path to the destination.
Yes.
Oh, okay, that's pretty awesome. Thank you for that analogy, Venerable. All right, so our next question comes from New Jersey, and I think this is a good question too, quite relevant to our theme. Thank you guys for these awesome questions. How to create a positive mindset and make a good connection between body and mind for people who are suffering mental disability.
This is it depends on how severe the mental disability is, but in most states, as we relax, as meditation, it can help to calm yourself to a certain state. But if they are suffering from very strong mental disability, it's not that they won't benefit from meditation, but it won't be as strong, if that makes sense. But it can definitely make it better, whether it's anxiety or depression. It can get better from the meditation. But for the mental disability that is more physical, meaning that there's severe trauma to the brain or something like that, it could be a little bit difficult to meditate. But the best thing that they can do is, if they have the mental capacity to repeat the mantra, that can definitely help. And for us, as a friend or as a family member, we can also meditate and send the positive energy that you feel and dedicate it to them. And that can also help to benefit them. So hopefully that gives some kind of perspective.
Thank you, Venerable. So our next question is from someone from California, Andrea. Being from California, how do you think social media affects young adults and teens' mental health, in specific with comparison from others?
This is the biggest challenge right now in our generation and in the future generations, is as technology grows and develops, our mental health goes down if we rely on it for our happiness. And that's the problem for teens, young adults, and I don't think just young adults, I think for anyone who, or whether it's any age, if they rely on social media as their source of happiness, their source of gratification, their source of achievement, fulfillment, they're only going to suffer, because in Buddhist philosophy, or just in general, nothing lasts forever. Everything is impermanent. The follows don't always come. The likes don't always come. Sometimes they come, sometimes they go. So it's not a constant happiness. And most of the time, it's suffering that we feel. And so for those of us who, the more we can use social media in a positive way, but as I said, if we use it as our main source of happiness, our main source of fulfillment, it's only going to make us suffer mentally. So we really need to take a break from it. If it's, detox from social media, a lot of people feel better, right? If who's anyone's ever been on a meditation retreat for 7 days, 5 days, or even longer than that, even a day, where you just put your phone away and don't look at it for a day, you feel better, right? And I would recommend try to reduce your usage of it if you feel like it's impacting your happiness, and remind yourself that true happiness can come from meditation. I think many of us were able to experience it tonight, at least a glimpse of it, and it'll get even better the more you meditate, the more you practice, and you make your source of happiness not from social media but from within yourself, and make true connections with yourself, true connections with the people that are close to you, that you love, your friends and your family. That your true social media should be the people that are close to you and around you, and help you to look after you and make yourself feel better. So those simply, if social media does have an effect on your mental health, more negative than in most cases.
Yeah. I think, Venerable, you're spot on about that. One thing is, I think if you're going to use social media, you also have to train yourself not to get too attached to it and kind of like use it responsibly. Otherwise, you can kind of like fall through like a rabbit hole where you just get consumed. And, there's so many negative things that can come out of it, really, from being attached to having desires to want to have these likes, to having gratification from outside of yourself, to being sad when you don't get it. So I feel like there's so many different components of like defilements that kind of get in there, that it can be quite unhealthy if you're not trying to be responsible with it. We definitely, it's hard to avoid, but at the same time, you also have to realize how it can be negative, like the positive and the negative, and just try to like use it responsibly. So, Venerable, another question that we have, this is from last month that we can bring up to try to get some of the ones that we had that we weren't able to address. This one is how to have a peaceful resolution to meditation. A timer isn't pleasant when it sounds. If I try to time myself, then my mind will not be fully meditating, but thinking about how much time I have left to meditate.
Great question. I think first, you shouldn't use a timer, exactly. Go by your feeling. When you want to make a resolution, or when you want to spread your love and kindness, or anything in that way, what I use, or what you should do, is basically fill yourself up with relaxation first, fill yourself up with happiness first, and then you can use the resolution, or do the love and kindness, meaning that feel for yourself. Don't worry about when am I going to make the resolution. When you feel still, when you feel calm, and at that moment, you should try to use the visualize, or to do the resolution. When you feel for yourself that, okay, I'm okay, I'm ready, I feel calm, I feel still, and you feel for yourself that this is the right time. And then at that time, we can do the resolution. So it doesn't necessarily need to be at the end. It doesn't necessarily be, it can be at any time that you feel comfortable,
Mm.
or you feel for yourself that, okay, I feel good now. Ideally, after you feel more good, you feel more calm, you feel more positive, that's a good time to make a resolution, because your mind is in a good state.
So, Venerable, when it comes to time, do you have like a suggested amount of time you recommend for people to meditate, in terms of when on average your mind might still? Is there kind of like a standard on that by any chance?
It depends on how quickly you can let go. So if you can let go easily and quickly, you can really get deep in your meditation. And again, it's not necessarily about the time you meditate, but the time that your mind is still, which is like the essence of a good meditation. So if it's 1 second of stillness, that's a long way. Some people meditate for an hour, but they don't even get a second. So even though you meditated for a minute and you got a second of stillness, that's a huge step. But ideally, if you can meditate more, of course, it gives you more opportunity to get moments of stillness. So if you can meditate, at least 30 minutes to an hour a day, I think that can really go a long way to help you collect more moments of stillness. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to meditate an hour like at once, but you can split it up throughout the day. 5 minutes there, 10 minutes here, depending on your feeling again. Go by your comfort, go by what makes you feel relaxed. And again, don't set a timer. Kind of just sit according to how long you feel comfortable. And when you feel like, okay, I no longer physically comfortable, no longer, then maybe you can take a break and come back later and collect some more time in the future. So there's no real standard, but ideally go according to what makes you feel comfortable. And if it still feel comfortable, just keep going and it will get better.
So, Venerable, what about for those people who've been meditating daily for a very long time and you start to feel like it's quite routine and you almost feel like, it's just kind of mechanical? How do you encourage them to, I feel like in the beginning when you're meditating, you get excited or you're really into it and it's easier to meditate and you feel very happy and content because it's still so new. But then when you've been doing it for a long time, it gets, like I said, mechanical that you don't even know if you're really progressing. How would you be able to, like, what would you recommend people who've been meditating a long time in terms of how to just be on the right track, I guess? Or if are they on the right track? Because you still should be consistent in your practice, even if you're not feeling that super joyful feeling that you've had before, but you're still meditating to try to get to that feeling at some point just by doing it consistently.
Hmm. This is the different obstacle that people get as you practice meditation consistently. And
Oh, good. So it's normal. I'm so glad because
you're not the only
I
one.
kind of feel like that's what's happening to me these days.
Everyone experiences this, myself included. As we meditate 5 hours a day, 6 hours a day, if you turn it into a mechanical, it may feel strange. And the reason why it feels mechanical or feels like a routine, we have to check ourselves, meaning that we always have to treat meditation like it's our first time, meaning your mindset, and not treating meditation as a job or a task that you have to check off. And that's the problem that we kind of get into that mindset. But in the beginning, as a new practitioner, we treat meditation as a time to rest, a time to relax, a time to sleep, similar to that, to rest your body, rest your mind. But if you start to feel mechanical or feel like it's a routine and doesn't feel that relaxing or as deep as before, it's usually because our mindset is it's time to work.
Mm.
It's time to develop our meditation. It's time to get deeper. So we're putting our focus in the wrong or putting our goal in the wrong spot. And that it's like we're going on a journey. We put our our waypoint or our destination in the wrong place. And we as long as we keep walking, but we're walking without happiness. We're walking without the true clear goal. So I always remind myself, and even every week that I also have to check up on my meditation and um, tutor and stuff like that. And from my masters, from my teachers, they always say that you have to check when you meditate, do you feel happy? If you feel happy, you're on the right track. But if you feel bored, you feel um, stagnant, it's usually because your mind is in the mindset that I don't treat meditation as meditation. Treat your meditation as time to relax, and that will help.
Hmm.
Just think of it. I'm just here to relax. I'm just here to rest. And if you think like that, it's only going to get better. But if you treat meditation like it's time to clock in, time to get to work, then it's gonna feel kind of the way you described.
Hmm. Thank you, Venerable. Actually, meditating with you or anytime I meditate with a teaching Venerable, I don't feel like that. But on my own, it's easy to do it when I'm practicing daily. But thank you. That actually makes a lot of sense. We do have a couple more questions, Venerable, that trickled in. This is from the Georgia Meditation Center for someone there. The question is, how can I do more good deeds? How do I find more opportunities?
One of the best good deeds you can do is your mind first. When you meditate, that's actually a good deed, and actually, it's actually a very powerful good deed that some people overlook because it's not something you can tangibly see in the beginning. That, oh, if I do this, it's gonna get better, right? If you help someone or you physically do something, you can see it and you feel like you're actually doing something. But the first step I would recommend is to take the time to meditate. That is a good deed in itself, because as you cultivate your mind to be clear, to be positive, you're going to automatically find opportunities to do more good because your mind is positive and your mind is filled with that clarity of mind. And it's like you're going to be searching for opportunities to help people automatically. You're not going to want to. Uh, this question was asked by Longpa to the monks. He asked everyone that when you meditate and your mind is still and your mind is calm and you get to that point of stillness and you feel happy within you, how do you describe that happiness? How does that make you feel? He asked us that. And when you notice that when you get to that stillness and that happiness within you, it it feels like you don't want to do any negative. You don't want to think any
Mm,
negative. You don't want to, especially when you leave the meditation, you're gonna feel like automatically that you don't want to lose that feeling of positivity. You don't want to harm anyone. You don't want to harm anything, whether it's by speech, by thought, by action. So that's why one of the best good deeds is looking after your mind.
mm,
And through that, you're going to find more opportunities to do good and continue to do good deeds.
mm. Wow, Venerable, that was such a good explanation for that question. I really like that. Thank you for sharing that. It resonated with me for sure. So, one last question, Venerable, before we wrap up. Sylvia, she says that, and this is a good point too, in terms of feeling anxious during meditation, hoping it finishes quicker. What is your recommendation for people when they sit and that happens to them?
Do you feel like you want the meditation to end quicker? Sorry.
Yeah, so when she's meditating, in the meditation, it's like, when is it going to end? Like you're meditating and if you're thinking about doing it at a certain amount of time, you're waiting for that time and you're kind of like anticipating it and being anxious. And how do you deal with that?
Again, it's because your mind is in the future worrying about the deadline of when the timer goes off. So when you focus on, it's like you're sitting in the car and are we there yet? Are we there yet? Of course,
Mhm.
the journey is going to feel longer than it is because you're focusing on the destination and not enjoying the experience, not enjoying the journey, right? So you have to bring your mind to the present with the mantra or the visualization, or if that doesn't work, just open your eyes. The moment you start to feel really bored, really stagnant, or feel like that, where when is it going to end? It's usually because you've already fallen off the path of
Mhm.
being conscious and calm together, being comfortable. So at that point, I would just recommend to start over. Open your eyes, stretch your body, uh, relax physically again, take a drink of water, go wash your face, whatever you feel to kind of reset yourself. and then come back to the meditation when you feel refreshed, rather than continuing with that feeling of when is it going to end? When is it going to end?
Thank you, Venerable. So this wraps up our full moon meditation tonight. Venerable, this was a great session. The Q&A was awesome. Thank you so much. I definitely learned a couple of things that's going to help me with my practice, and I hope everyone else did too. Again, don't forget about our next full moon meditation on Tuesday, November 8th. And at this time, we're going to accept a blessing from our teaching Venerable to end tonight's session. Don't forget to please to fill out the feedback form. There's a link on the chat for people to fill it out so that we can know how we're doing and how we can get better. So at this time, let us pay respect to our teaching Venerable, who will give us blessing. And oh yes, there's the QR code for the feedback. All right. So Monk Daniel.
Okay.
All right.
By the positivity that you have generated within you by taking the time to meditate, and all the positive deeds that you have done in the past, whether it's by your action, by your thought, by your speech, may all that positivity come and bless you and guide you, filling your life with happiness, success, helping us to stay healthy of both body and mind, free from any danger, free from any obstacles, or even if we encounter any obstacles, may be able to overcome them easily with the positivity that we have. May that positivity follow you, protect you always. And most importantly, when you come to meditate, may you be able to still your mind and connect to the source of true happiness within you quickly and easily and very soon.
Thank you so much, Venerable, again, for your guided meditation and your wisdom. Really appreciate it. It was a beautiful meditation tonight. And again, everyone, hope to see you again next month. Stay connected to us. Continue to come back, invite your friends, and please don't forget to fill out the feedback so that we've got that so we can continue to improve.
Let's come together to open the new world era to eliminate all conflicts and differences. It's time for everyone to join hand in hand. At last, now the world's beyond healing. It's time to change the world. As the one who knew in the past, in this period of our time, we will see. Before we depart this world, everyone must join hand in hand to change the world from darkness to brightness, from suffering to happiness, from ignorant to the knowledge world. Change the world, we have to do it easy way. Be happy and joyful with childlike innocence. Everyone must join hand in hand. Gently close your eyes, relax, relax. Still your mind at the center of the body and move within. At the same position of the one who knew from the past. Change the world from the era of darkness to the era of light. From the old era to this new era, the world will be like heaven on earth. No classes in society. Everyone will be really happy. We speak the same